didn't ask her.
You're
when
here.
We had
I'm
lunch
here.
and she had made,
I'm right here.
You changed. We talked a little bit about.
I know I did.
I had a hard time.
It's just, I'm having a hard time finding center in front of it.
She has made some really nice friends.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's a
But
good way to do it.
Good. There's some experience for
where
you.
she lives and
job,
where her
Joanne.
friends live, it's tough. I mean, because even if it's only 15 miles, it can be an hour.
Yeah, we talked about that commute a little bit. Yeah, that's.
So
We're
when
live
they move
right
to the
now.
south,
Yes, I see that.
Hi.
Diving into it, right?
Let's roll. Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Jeez. Oh, budget off.
Chair I sit in, but it's always low.
Turn your phone off, Tina. All right.
Feel like I'm a midget.
Good evening. This is the February 13th Devils Lake Water Improvement District Board meeting. Welcome everybody here and anybody watching. And roll call, we have all present board members. We have one vacant position on our board that we are filling tonight. Approval of consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion and second to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. Committee reports, special projects. Okay. Save Our Shoreline, not here. District projects, that's you.
I'm getting it. Hold on. I didn't know if Bill was gonna
Normally,
be
we're
here,
waiting
so I was
around,
short-
and
I was
today
short
we
a
kinda-
packet. Oh, okay. All right. District projects. Aeration project has been going well. We've had no issues. I've had no shutdowns in the 30 days since the last board meeting. Excuse me. So no problems on that. I am still working with John Tucci. He's supposed to be getting me a price here before too long to see about regular maintenance on the diffusers, to see if that's going to be economical for us to just hire that instead of trying to do it more, because Bill went out that last time and found out it was pretty labor and time and equipment intensive. So if we can get a good package deal from him for maintenance on that, it might be the way to go.
Annually? Annually?
Yes.
Okay.
We would like to do it biannually, I think was what we settled on. We initially discussed due to the fouling on them.
Okay.
But annually at least.
Okay.
Vegetation management has moved along this month. We received the estimate from Aquatechnics for the treatment of the parrot feather areas. They highlighted all those on the map in the report with about, I think it ended up being about 19 pages total. A lot of that is MSDS sheet for the treatment they want to apply. It was about kind of a big package, so sorry if I'm going too fast. 8, 10, 12. Approximately $12,000 for a reevaluation of the area before treatment, a treatment, and a reevaluation after to determine if it worked and how well it worked. And that covers about a 10-acre area. Most of the concentrations we found in the report that we had done a couple months ago by Aquatechnics showed that it was concentrated around the boat ramp areas, so that would be where a good portion of the work would happen. There are a couple of other spots as well, a couple larger drainage ditch areas that come from some of the roads. I believe it was on the west side. And it includes those areas as well.
So I was wondering if that's what the visual aquatic plant survey and mapping was, and it seems, I get the post one for sure, but I mean, we just had the other one done and paid for that. It seems kind of silly to pay for another one before the spraying. I mean, I don't know the normal time delay in that. But I mean, if we were saying, hey, we want to have it sprayed and hadn't just had the mapping done 60 days ago, I could see paying that. But having mapping done again before the spraying seems a little redundant and kind of expensive.
Yeah, I can look at them, and I'm sure they can take that off. That's definitely not a necessary part of the
I'm
project.
totally fine with the post mapping because we want to see that we made progress. And I'm sure that's why they have the pre and the post, so you have something to compare with.
And I think the idea was before on that, Tina, was we had asked them to put that in because when we initially wanted them to survey it, we're kind of doing it. We were definitely doing it in the off season when all the plants are quiescent and they're not actively growing. This one was because it was an invasive, so we still definitely got our value of identifying it in the areas, so we know what we're looking at. But we were going to come back in the spring, early March, and that's what that first one is that they plugged in there. But I mean, we can have that taken off. So
Well, one of the, if I may.
Yeah.
So, one of the reasons why we did this in the first place is to identify potential problems. And the original map, if you compare it to this one, had much more identification points on the map, on the full survey. And although parrot feather, which is invasive, supposed to go dormant during the winter. So the original survey was done in December, and they're not looking at doing the next survey until May. And I think one of the objectives of the board is to be able to track what's happening, and $2,300 for a resurvey in late spring, early
So, yeah,
summer.
and I apologize. I thought it was March we were going to do it.
Yeah, so May, June, and they really, for application purposes, want to make sure that they go back where the parrot feather was identified and be able to identify it and treat it.
And it's much like agricultural sampling in the fact that they come down pretty close to the lines because they never want to over-apply or cause any more risk than they need to with any materials. So that and cost-wise, it's not cheap stuff to put down. So they want to make sure we're getting our bang from the buck and don't want to overbid on it either. So I think that's, along with what Steve's saying, what they've shared with me is they want to get it closer to when they're going to actually do the treatment as far as their
Well, I think we need to measure
Okay.
but
off-season, and the last survey will be done after the growing season. So another survey will be done late summer, early fall, to not only see what happened where they treated, but to see if anything else happened in between where they didn't treat. And, I guess the importance of an invasive species in our lake is critical.
Yeah.
And I, as a board member, think that we're doing the right thing by getting the professionals, identifying it, and keeping on it, eradicating it as soon as possible.
I agree.
And so, that's my comments, and I think we should make a decision tonight,
I do too.
if we can. I don't know if anybody else has any questions.
And along with these, to continue with the vegetation management plan and to make things as efficient as we can in the district. The next page of the agenda there, you'll notice that Weston Fritz completed his FAA drone exam for the district after completing the special district's ground school that they provide to us complimentary as members. So very soon here, we'll be writing a grant to get a drone for our district, and that's going to be the focus of the drone. I can't think of a better use right now to employ that technology than to help keep an eye on,
For
if
sure.
nothing else, these key areas of this invasive. So moving forward, there's lots of things even on that drone. I'm just scratching the surface meeting with him. They even make spectral imaging now for it. the same thing. Agricultural crop sciences brought that to the forefront, and I believe a unit costs about $6,000 for that. So these things are even well within the grasp of organizations like ours now. So I believe that's going to be invaluable moving forward, but directly related to keeping an eye on the growth of this invasive species. So I hope by the spring to have that flying in the air, since we have a legal pilot now to do it. So.
And thank you, Fritz, or Weston. I did that.
He spent days studying and drove to McMinnville a couple of times and back
Yeah.
and forth, and he's
That's
very
cool.
excited about it too. But yeah, it's I'm excited because I've wanted the time to do it since I've been involved with the district and have not had the time. So now we can get all the beautiful pictures we want. And many other things as well. So, but sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack.
Well, and I think the other
conversation.
thing to make note of is this is going to be a budget line going forward. I mean,
Yep.
this board had said, last summer that we know as the grass carp die back, there's going to be reaction. And Aquatex, this company this is what they do. They have a good rating. They did the original survey, and I just think we need to budget it and attack it before it gets out of control.
Before we move on, does anybody have any other comments on the Aquatex?
I haven't read through it yet. Still reading through it.
Okay. So you don't want to approve it tonight?
I think we should move forward with that.
Okay. Josh, are you looking for a motion from us on that, or just a verbal approval, or?
Just wanted you all to have the discussion, make sure that's the direction we wanted to go. We're fine in our materials and services line item, which would fall directly under that, and vegetation management. Of course, on a line item will be over this year, but that's completely fine within Oregon budget law. We'll just know as I am preparing the budget right now, as we've anticipated, like you said, that we'll have to commit more resources to this in the next budget year, certainly.
So on that topic of budget and vegetation management, when we first started talking vegetation management, I was thinking mechanical vegetation removal. But then when this subject came up and, heard about the fragmenting and stuff, obviously that is not an option for this type of thing. So do we want to stay away from mechanical vegetation removal because of having this type of species in the lake? Or I mean, do you eradicate this type of species and then use mechanical for the other types of things that, like what is the celery grass or whatever, eelgrass?
Like eelgrass and, water grasses. It really is a piecemeal type situation, like
Okay.
you're saying. This is going to grow in a certain area where things will mechanically harvest will probably not. In addition, we can look out for those areas and map it out like we would anything else. I think mechanical harvesting, fortunately, we don't need it at this exact moment, but we do have that on tap as an option as well. And that, along with these treatments, even our community outreach, is important in protecting us from these current
Right,
situations.
and that's
So.
Something that we haven't really, and I guess that's something that I wanted to bring up later, is kind of a board retreat of the multifaceted plan of, education plan and not just treating it once it's in there, but how do we keep it out? So.
Yeah, more of a long-term planning session.
Right. Okay, so we'll talk about that. So, is anybody opposed to doing this? Okay, so I'm hearing let's move forward with this
Okay.
and get them on the schedule. I don't think we're too late to get on the schedule.
No, we
okay.
should be fine.
Great. All right.
Okay.
Okay, grass carp.
I spoke with staff, and they're going around with John Spangler and see if he can come here and speak to us about it. So if he has time or staff time, that's our. I think that'd be a great thing to hear it directly from the organization as to what.
You're
what,
sick of telling us
well,
no.
just as to what and where we're at, and that way we know what it is. And I don't agree or disagree that it should or shouldn't be there. I'm just here to institute the policies and programs. But the regulators do their thing as well, so
Okay.
that's part of what we have to do. And they're definitely regulating that. So.
Okay.
But it is on here, and it will remain on here as requested
Okay.
as an action item. The Airstream Pro Shoreline Aerator, Bill spoke with me earlier this week, and we've been having some issues with it kicking on and off the breaker, and I have not had an opportunity to catch up with him
I did a
after that.
follow-up with the electrician today, and they have reinstalled the breaker in the unit, and it's currently operating again.
Excellent. Good
Back
stuff.
online.
We will need that, especially in the spring. And that's also something that I will need to commit some time and staff time to, is especially with Blue Heron Landing's ownership being in the air at the moment. After Knoll sells it, getting some more locations to put that, some more better locations. And we've had a few options, and I know we've evaluated, and we've came up dry on a couple of them literally because it wasn't deep enough to keep it in there. But moving forward, if anybody hears anybody who says they have a lagoon that looks terrible that we might be able to have a 220 tap on and get that thing in and do some good, then please let me know. I know the city as well may have some areas. I still want to get it in the 1st and 3rd Street Canal, but these invasive species have kind of taken precedent over anything else. So. The flood protection is moving along. Even 1 hour before the board meeting, Tom called me. He spoke with Dario. It's his first name. I can't remember his last. He's our DSL land manager contact. Initially told us to go to Lincoln City, satisfy what they needed done. Lincoln City needs a conditional use permit process because the area is designated as a marine resource area, and dredging is listed as a conditional use in that marine resource area. So what that means is we have to go through the conditional use permitting process, which I spoke with Anne Marie, the director. We should have no issues getting through it. It truly doesn't really fit the criteria, but it's just to be compliant with planning code. We will do that. However, after bringing the permit in here to Lincoln City, before we initiate that process, we have to have the actual landowner sign. The actual landowner is Dario of the Department of State Lands. Tom spoke with him this evening, and he's not comfortable signing it, though he requested for us to have it signed. And he's going to have a meeting with his supervisor next week, and Tom is going to take care of that for me as well. Since he's this far along in the process, I figured I'd let him keep going and figure out what we need to get them as the landowner to sign to initiate the conditional use permitting process.
Well, and maybe if it's just a different person
I
in
think-
DSL, I can
yeah.
see why Dario is not comfortable signing it.
I think he
if
may
he's
be
the
new in the
person-
position, possibly.
I get it.
Yeah. But rest assured, things are moving forward. It actually looks promising. Most of the people we spoke to, including Dario, thinks it's a great plan and project, and it makes sense to everybody to get it
Right.
done. We're just trying to, make the tic-tac-toe of regulations work out. So we're setting precedent here, and that's what takes it, I guess. Other than that, there are no updates. We have, we've covered that in previous board meetings. I took that off of here, so we wouldn't be so redundant. We have been monitoring the lake flow. It's high right now. The flow is obviously lower, so the level of lake is very high, as we've
What was our peak
anticipated.
height?
I believe Julie just sent it to me yesterday, and I didn't see what it was. 11.8,
Oh,
11.6, something like that. So yeah, we're up there. We're getting way up there. So hopefully soon we'll have this in place, and
I
we'll
now
be
have
able to do it.
2 more docks on my property.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they just floaters?
Yep. If anybody needs a dock, I have a couple.
Next, any questions on that? Okay. Thompson Creek monitoring.
Well, I do want to say, just for public record, we do not dam the lake. So if the lake is high, it has
cover
zero to do with anything that this body is doing. It is natural flow of elevation. So I realize that a lot of people have concerns over their docks being underwater and their decks being underwater, but it is no doings of ours. Yeah.
No, we are not. Our that comes out
Yeah.
in October
Right.
and is not put back in until late spring at the earliest.
So yeah, generally we put the dam in, it can go in no sooner than April 15th, and it has to come out no later than August 15th,
October.
October.
October. Yeah.
So anyhow,
Yes.
the water is what the water is.
It is, and that's exactly why we're committing time and resources to trying to get this permit on the east side of the bridge so we can clear it like we do the west side when this happens. So, but we're moving that way. Thompson Creek, I've received a few calls this past week of high turbidity events once again happening there. We've had a lot of rain on and off, but it hasn't even been completely intermittent with that because it hasn't happened every time that we've had a heavy rain. I spoke with Dave Waltz of DEQ. He's been very responsive, as he always is. And he gave me the link to file a report to go to DEQ so they can look into it further. I believe Mark Christie of DLNA filed that report, and I know Mitch Moore also followed up on some of that as well. On the turbidity coming down there and where it might possibly be coming from. The last communication I had from Dave Waltz indicated they were looking into it further. It's been logged and registered in their system now. So hopefully we will figure something out on that soon. As a side point, not that it's directly related, but there has been a lot of news recently in the logging industry about waterway protection. That's hearsay at this point in the newspapers, but hopefully at some point we'll start getting a little bit of notice as to everything that's flowing into our lake and what happens when it gets there, that somebody has to deal with it. So,
Good. I mean, not good, but
well,
at least there's a
at least getting recognized.
little bit of recourse, yeah.
So, yeah. I am still waiting on TLC to respond on the district credit card limit increase.
Are you kidding me?
And it takes it. Yeah, I'll go back tomorrow and hopefully get something done. So
Didn't we do that like 60 days ago?
it was like 6 weeks ago, I think, 5 or 6 weeks. I think maybe it was 60.
I think it was in November.
It's in the old minutes.
Was it?
done.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Well, let me know if I can do something to help with that.
I will if I yeah.
Oh, December 12th. So yeah, 2 months ago.
Not my first rodeo there. Board planning and work. Oh, look, I just skipped right into new business. What am I doing?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
That's okay.
take this back, Tina. Any questions on any project or operations or?
I don't have any. Anybody else? New business, board planning, and work session. Since we are coming into a new budget year and we are going to have a new board member, I thought we could schedule an actual like board retreat to review our goals, cross off the goals we've accomplished, add new goals. So I don't know if you guys want to do that, you know, during the week, on a weekend. What,
I'm going to be traveling, so we should set it far enough out so that
okay,
I can schedule around.
okay. How about I shoot out some 2 or 3 dates to
So
everybody?
Budget cycle ends June,
June.
end of June.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, later in May is what I would think.
I was
would work.
thinking, okay.
Is that what, did
I
you
was
have any
thinking
general?
May-ish, April,
May-ish?
May-ish, so.
Yeah.
I'll shoot out some
Or just
dates
2 words.
and let me know, you know, when you're not around, if you're not around.
So this retreat, what do you, like a half day
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
someplace
think a half
local?
day,
Is
yeah.
that what you're thinking?
Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think for the working people, probably a weekend would be better. I know you're probably really moving about May, you know, a lot of things happening, weather getting better,
Weekend would be ideal.
yeah,
Okay.
so,
Weekends get a little tough for me in the spring because of track.
uh, so,
Oh, I'll,
mornings or like Saturday morning or something, or? is-
maybe. I have one weekend available in April, May, and early June.
Yeah, so, I think for Bill, so look at your schedule.
Yeah.
Shoot out
I'll
some
shoot out
tentative
some-
dates.
Yep.
Alex has a good point. Stay away from the first weekend in May because fishing derby is May 2nd.
Yes, I saw, yep.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
okay.
Okay. And Devils Lake Neighborhood Association, I just received a check for a donation for the fireworks. And this is from us to the Neighborhood Association. So I will make sure this gets to the rightful owner. So
Was it
it's for $2,000.
$2,000? Hey.
And consideration and appointment of applicant to vacant board position. So we received one applicant for our vacant board position, and it was Mitch Moore. And so do you want to come up, Mitch, and tell us a little about yourself? Mitch is no stranger to any of us. We all know Mitch really well. He's been around here longer than a lot of us.
I don't know about that. 20 years now, yeah. Well, hi, I'm Mitch Moore, and as you all know, but some don't, I live on the end of Sand Point, next to the park. And the lake is intensely important to me and my wife. We live on it, we play on it, and we care a lot about it. So I recently retired, so, well, it's been over a year, but so I have the time to kind of up the ante. Part of what we've done in the past to try and support the lake is that we created the Devils Lake Neighborhood Association, which has been pretty successful at doing a number of things. Probably the biggest thing we might be known for is the fireworks display, but that was actually done in hopes of improving the health of the lake to try and get people to spend money on a big fireworks show where the fireworks explode completely and dissipate instead of all the little ones that just go plunk in the lake. So, and it actually has been somewhat successful, and an awful lot of people go and see that. So, I know this is going to be I say challenging time, however, we'll say great opportunity. I see when the grass comes back, it is our biggest challenge, but at the same time, greatest opportunity because people are going to get involved. They're going to want to know what's happening, and it's if we can come up with programs to kind of help people do something in front of their house or where they fish or whatever they do on the lake, we're going to be, it's a great opportunity to get things done. So I don't know if there's any questions you have for me about
Don't
that.
forget your great effort in our budget.
Oh, yeah, I've been on the budget committee for
Forever.
a long time. Well, until I got kicked off for a little while because it turned out the rules require, they don't require you to live and vote here to be on this board, but to be on the budget committee, you have to vote in the district. And so there was a year I got kicked off because I had to change my voter's registration. So, but I think I've been doing that for about a decade. So.
Well, I'm super excited to have you on the board, and I know you've done an immense amount of work from the other side of the table, and it'll be great to have you as part of this team. And I know I have depended on your leadership and your expertise on a plethora of things, not just the lake. And so I'm excited to have you, and I appreciate your willingness to serve. I know you're retired, and you could be doing a lot of things with your time. So I appreciate
But
your
I'm
willingness.
here at the lake, so
Yeah.
it's the easiest thing to do.
I'm glad you think so.
I agree too. I don't think we could have had anybody better applying for the board, so I just think it's wonderful that you have.
I have to third that. I've worked with you on the budget committee, and you've been, there's one thing I can say about Mitch Moore. Anything he commits to, he does it from start to finish.
Well.
And I would only challenge you in the position because of the way you like to do things. Still be retired here a little bit, and I know we have things that we believe are going to happen to the lake and where the lake is going as far as vegetation and everything. And you'll be a good team member as far as looking in depth of what has worked and what hasn't. But I'm glad to have you aboard, Mitch. I'm glad you committed.
Great.
Likewise, Mitch, I think you're a great asset to the community, and especially for the lake, for all the work and time you've put in so far, so welcome.
Well, I better take that when I can. I won't get it again.
All in favor?
All in favor.
So, our meetings are the second Thursday at 6 o'clock. Report next month.
6 o'clock.
If there's any spelling you want that it isn't obvious, let Joanne know so we can get it for your bed.
Yeah, Josh, we'll get with you on all the particulars and get your documents to sign and sign your life away. Do you need?
I was just going to ask, do we want to have executive session prior to the first board meeting? If there's anything we need to run Mitch
Yeah,
through?
it
I know
may
we
not
kind
be
of
a bad idea.
talked about that.
We
If you
could
want to,
do,
let me
we
know.
talked about, so we, for the last maybe 4 or 5 months, we've been having executive session from 5 to 6, and then the board meeting. And tonight we didn't feel like we needed one, and we thought maybe we'd go quarterly with those. So maybe we should schedule one for the March meeting.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody? So yeah, we'll do executive session at 5.
Okay.
5 o'clock
I
here.
assume you have my email, right?
I've got you, Mitch. I will
You're gonna get a new
actually get
email.
you a new one. You'll be
That's
Mitch
just what
at
I
doit.org. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll get you the GoDaddy settings. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. I'll set one.
Okay.
So,
All righty
I'll
then.
have
Great.
your oath
Back to the-
prepared.
Welcome aboard.
Enjoy it for the last few
Yeah.
minutes. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Swear him in, or do we do that at the next meeting?
Next meeting.
Next
Next meeting, okay.
Other new business I got the board retreat and appoint budget officers.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I know. Bring it on. No, if it's anything like the previous 3 years, I'm ready.
Okay. So you can do that.
Okay,
Thank
I'm
you.
appointed.
you. Any-
Actually, I think you learned at the last retreat there that how to streamline the budget, right?
I have actually.
Yes.
I learned several things. Some stuff that may or may not be good options for us, and some other things that let me sleep at night.
Other non-agenda items, I just wanted to bring up the fishing derby. I got this little flyer on my packet today, which is really nice looking. And they are looking for sponsors, and it looks like there's 3 sponsorship levels: gold, silver, and bronze sponsorship. For those of you who don't know, the fishing derby is May 2nd. And there has been a group of people working really hard on this. I think it's going to be a terrific event. And the more sponsors we have, the more effective it'll be. And going forward, Josh, do you have anything else to add?
Not really. Today, I'd like to thank Ed Drystat, too, at Lincoln City. He's been helping us get some of the paperwork together. He's got the entry form together for us, and Steve just asked me before the meeting to get that out. So, actually, if Miles is out there, there he is. If you wouldn't mind forwarding that out to everybody, that would be great, Miles, and we'll start going ahead and getting the entry form out with these. That way, if businesses want to put them up, they can start taking registrants, because we're approved through the city for our special event.
So can you sign up online as well, or is it a paper entry form?
Right now, it's the paper entry form, and I believe Lori with, Miles is coming up. He's got an update for
Okay.
us. So I believe Lori with the chamber is going to help us with the registration end of things. So,
Okay.
Since we're chamber members.
So we were talking about a mailing also of this out to the businesses. Was that through our database, through our email, or was it
That would be through theirs. I don't-
Chamber?
Chamber?
Yeah, the chamber email lists would be what to get from Lori, and I have not gotten that yet. So
I wonder if we should have an online registration.
that I
that an
believe is
option?
what
I think
that's what the chamber does.
Oh,
It
okay.
will like take the payment and everything automatically because they're already set up to do all that through their chamber master system that they
Oh, okay.
put in place. So.
Wow.
That's what I was going to tell you is when Ed approves it, we can go online with Explore Oregon and the Lincoln City Chamber of Commerce, and they'll help promote it through their regular things. The chamber has members who can help us put it on, but the most important thing is they'll collect the money
Yeah.
over online, so you can have a choice of filling out the entry and sending $35 or whatever we've decided on
Yeah, it says 35.
for to the chamber, and they'll collect the money and give it to Josh and the Devil's Lake Water Improvement
So this
District.
says that registration will
can
be made
also
available on Dillwood's website.
We will link to chambers
Oh,
most
okay,
likely.
okay.
So as soon as everything gets set up with that, now that we're rolling, I believe that'll
Oh,
happen
and it's capped
quickly,
at
so.
100 participants.
Well,
Well,
we
we just found
actually
that out.
we actually may be able to extend that. We spoke with thanks to Miles getting a hold of the insurance company that's giving us the policy to ensure this we're not paying $10,000 for
Right.
the fish. That does not change the cost of our insurance policy. I believe it's $650 for the whole event, regardless of up to 200 event applicants.
Oh, okay.
So, and the thinking behind that is, initially we were thinking, well, 100 people, 100 boats, and that's truly not going to be the way it is, especially with children registering for free, a couple to a boat. We can get up to 200 people very quickly on maybe 20 or 30 boats tops. So we didn't want to really hamstring the event and not even let anyone participate. So
This is a stupid question because I'm not a fisherman, but you can only have one pole per person, right?
I believe it depends on ODFW's rules and what you pay for, right?
Yeah, you can, fish and wildlife fishing permit, you can buy
The Devil's Lake Fish Marshal is
Yes.
out there.
two poles. You pay extra on your tag.
So if I pay $35, I have 2 poles in the water.
I would think you maybe should make a note on there and say that it's one pole for $35, because if you have 2 poles, you get 2 chances.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
It may be a little late in the game to change that.
Okay.
I think it's going to be very difficult to see who's got 2 poles.
I agree. I
Okay.
think moving.
Actually, yeah. If they catch.
I mean, it would be, I don't know how many of these are printed yet, but it'd be pretty easy to say registration is $35 per person per pole. I mean, it's adding 2 words, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I
yeah.
think Steve wanted to keep it simple, and we're not going to have Lincoln City sheriffs on the lake that day.
That's true.
And,
They're not coming.
Who's going to inspect?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the first time we wanted to do simple, because we'll find out a lot the first year.
Okay.
So
I just don't want any fighting about,
No,
you
and
had
that's
2 poles, I had 1 pole, you had,
well,
Yeah.
there's 2 sides to the argument. If it didn't say, then if you have a license for 2 poles, you can use 2 poles.
okay.
You know, person can go upgrade their license for 2
Right.
poles. So the other thing, the mailing, definitely, we need to get that out, Miles, through the chamber of this. We need the registration. I've already contacted businesses in town here, and the first thing that was asked is
How do
the
we register?
registration forms. And so
I'll see Ed tomorrow morning then and ask him to go online and give me the thing so I can take it to the chamber, and Laura, I'll get an appointment with her also so that I can get them going, and then we should have some blank form, registration forms, I would think, available for visitors upstairs who might grab one and at the chamber offices.
Right. And we already have interest in 2 bronze sponsorships that are committed,
Yeah.
so.
Perfect.
Cool. Great job.
Anything else that I can do, I would be happy to. I'll only be here, though, until the 28th of February, and then I will be gone in the month of March. But if you want me to start calling motels, or once I get it online, I'd be happy to take your direction, or Josh's direction, to do that.
Okay. Yeah, let's just get those 2 packets together, and then you can give me a call.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how many people we get to sign up, how quickly.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Any other non-agenda items? No. Anybody else have anything to add? All right. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. With that, we're adjourned. All right. I will give this to Mitch.
We didn't even have to talk about the water.
So, yeah.
I was prepared. I had no